said this. Whoa. Okay.
Whoa!
That's it. Keep it up there. Socrates. Thanks for being there, Grietje. Yeah. I got a word out. Here's the handy Grietje, the best bar in all Amsterdam, right?
Yeah!
Hey, the greatest boss of all time, right? Yeah. Can I get a kiss back in too? Can I get a kiss back in too? Can I get a present too? Yeah, the same as them. Awesome. Yeah, we know we're good. Yes. Yeah. Congratulations on the families. You all have a good family life. That's nice. I think it's nice that you all have a good background in your families, and you all ended up working in a bar. Yeah, I had 3 parents. Yeah. Well, my dad's remarried because that's what happens in America when we have kids.
Your dad remarried.
Well, yeah, hopefully, you know what I mean? One of them got remarried, you know what I mean? In the end, it'd be bad if they both would have been spending my whole life bitching about the other one. As it was, just the one did, You know what I'm talking about. It's like, that's what we call in the U.S., it's like if you survive the divorce and then you survive the shootings, bad. You get to graduate as becoming a person. It's cool, it's cool. Well, like I said, I am an American. Yeah, thanks, appreciate that. That's what it's like to be an American, The world's transitioning. I don't know if you noticed that or not. It's not necessarily transitioning to a better place, but the world's definitely doing a trans thing. Like the U.S. was sort of respected and nice. Now it's not. At least not as much, that's for sure. We used to do democracy. Now we're changing towards a dictatorship, which is unfortunate. It's not the only place in the world, though. Argentina, they just elected a strange dictator type guy, you know what I mean? What's with the weird hair in dictators, you know what I mean? From Adolf's little mustache, you know what I mean? Boris Johnson had that weird ass stuff going on, Trump, he was Trump. That's why I'm glad I'm living here in the Netherlands, because that could never happen here.
Yeah.
What? He won. Yeah, well, the government's sort of formed here and fragile and collapsed, like the Belgian ones, It's always like that. The thing is that people think about politics and they expect to have a better thing coming from it, you know what I mean? And they think that, it's the future and the past, and they don't know the past, so they haven't learned from the past, which is unfortunate. Because politics is actually, it's a Greek word. It comes from poly, which means many, and ticks, which is a blood-sucking parasite that spreads diseases. It's politics. It works about as well as that, And the weird thing is now we're slipping towards a dictatorship, which is also a Greek word. It comes from dick, which is essentially a big penis. And the rest of it's just a tater that gets shoved up your ass. It's not good, is my point. I think we should do a better system in the future. That's why I always voted for the Green Party. Yeah, that's the optimism that we get for the future of our environmental world, See, I always say nobody parties like the Green Party parties. And that lack of support is just very highly encouraging if there ever was something, You guys are all part of the farmer parties, so, my favorite of all, by the way, parties I ever saw, I guess it was the EU, for the EU election, and it was Jesus yay, EU nay. Because you knew where they stood on pretty much all the issues, Jesus yes, and the EU no. It was a nice, sort of a Brexit kind of a party. That's another party if there ever was one. Any English people here? On your time's up? No, yeah. I was pro-Brexit, but then again, I'm an American living here in the Netherlands, so I thought it was great. But I'm actually this was great weather. Everyone complains about the weather, you know what I mean? I was riding my bike here, and I rode right on past because it's like fietsendier. Yeah, it's like, I'm a Florida man. I don't know if you can tell by looking at me. I never made it into the papers, so I'm not an official Florida guy, but I'm definitely 20 years I never did Florida man things. And Florida is similar to here. Everybody here imagines Florida's got better weather. We don't have better weather. You all think it, or you think Florida's got better weather. It doesn't.
It can't be worse, right?
Well, it's like it's so hot you can't do anything, and since there's no infrastructure, if you try to do something, you'll get killed, you know. They had the Rio in the World Cup. Someone tried to kick a ball from Seattle down to Brazil, and they got like a day, and they got killed on the highway, you know. Someone tried to ride a bike there as well, also, same thing. So, you know, you talk about ungezellig. Getting hit by a gigantic SUV on the highway, it's extremely ungezellig. So like in Florida, like we have rain endless, like brutal rain. Like you don't know it's raining here without looking. Like in Florida.
Probeer niet vanavond eens om je kamer snel op te warmen.
That's a
Het duurt nog maar een paar minuten.
I didn't quite, what did he say? I didn't quite understand.
Something about keeping your house warm.
Ah, that's what we're trying to do. Warming the house up, man. Yeah, Florida. Yeah, place is on fire, man. But again, in Florida, it's like you know it's raining. You hear it. You're like, hey, yeah, it's raining like a mother because it's like biblical out there. And you go outside, and it's brutal. It's a different thing, like the lightning bolts, etc. You know, the weather here won't kill you. You know, hardly ever. But in Florida, not only does it rain constantly, we have a season called fire season. Yeah, you think it sucks when it's raining outside. You look outside and it's burning. It's way, way worse. You will never complain about raining. You know, when you see the world catch fire out there. It's raining, yeah! You know, the thing after like it rained, it burned for like 6 months. Literally, like, we didn't have that like new burning, like where everything's exciting. It was more of a smolder, like to get exciting occasionally. But we prayed for rain so long that God finally listened and sent hurricanes. The first hurricane, you're glad because it puts out the fire, you know? But the second one, you're like, all right, Lord, it's not good. You know, but that's the thing, God has a plan. I don't know if they told you this or not, but God made everything, God knows everything, and God has a plan for everything. And generally speaking, God's plan kind of sucks. I don't know what his plan is, but if you look around the world, it's an odd plan at best, you know what I mean? A while ago, I had a plan as well. My plan was to go to the sauna one day, and I didn't make it because God had a different plan for me. You know, I was forced to learn a Dutch word that I didn't want to learn that day. That word was aangereden. Because which means, of course, you all guys know, means slammed into, because I was aangereden door a scooter closer. I got slammed into by this asshole in a scooter. Yeah, different plan. That was not my intention whatsoever. And he brought up on the bike path, and I tried to explain to him what he was doing wrong, because it's the feet path. And, you know, maybe you didn't know, it's not for your feet. But it's for your bike, you know what I mean? And I didn't have time, so all I could say was, ah! And I went flying through the air, like a bird, you know? But I landed like an octopus, and broke half of my arms. It really sucked. And that was a different plan than I had, because I thought I was going to go to the sauna and see some new people, and hang out and sweat a bit. It was a very different day, because I got to go to the hospital, the house of paracetamol. And they sent me an ambulance. I learned things that day. I don't know if you've ever had to call an ambulance. Anybody never call an ambulance here? If you do call an ambulance and you want the ambulance to show up, which is why you called the ambulance, you know, you said to yourself, I need an ambulance, they'll ask you something like, are you going to pass out? Correct answer? Yes. I honestly said, I don't think so. They said, take a taxi. Yeah. I thought for a moment, I said, you know what, I'm getting a little dizzy. I think I might pass out. They sent the ambulance, which is great, you know. Other problem is, where are you? I was riding my bike a moment ago through Amsterdam, and I got hit by a scooter when I flew through the air, and then I landed on the ground and broke an arm. You want to know where I am? I'm here. I don't know. What's that knows where you are? Can't the cops figure out where the hell you are? Finally, I crawled over to the bus stop. I figured out there was a bus stop, and that's fortunately there. They sent the ambulance to me, and the ambulance gets there, and he offered me fentanyl. Which as an American, you know, don't tease me, just give me the heroin, you know. But at first I actually refused it, you know. And by the way, it's a big difference between a taxi and an ambulance. You know, the ambulance has fentanyl. You got to set it up with the taxi beforehand. It's a whole big thing. You got to know people. It's a lot of confusion. But I got to the hospital, and they did this thing that you don't really want a doctor to do, where they looked at my X-ray and they went, ugh. Which was true, because that's like I broke my shoulder badly. And I didn't want it either the way it was, but it was my shoulder, so you got to deal with it. What are you going to do, you know? And they offered me a shot of morphine. Yeah, no paracetamol for me. It's not going to help whatsoever. So I took the shot of morphine. It was the best thing of the day so far. And if you ever had a shot of morphine, it's good, right? Anybody with a shot of morphine? Anybody? Nice, healthy people? You know what I mean? It's tasty, right? It's a good drug, yeah? It is. It's great. If they do offer it to you, don't feel bad. Fentanyl, I have no positive things to say about. Morphine's like a warm hug on a cold night. You know? It really is, because you're hurt. Hopefully you're hurt. If you're just having fun, well, I don't know, I haven't done it yet. No one's offered it to me. Always doctors are always pushing me on hard drugs, you know. Same people gave me Oxycontin for a year and said you shouldn't take it. You're the one giving it to me. You know? What's your option? Paracetamol. I'm taking 4,000 of that. That's too much. Well, what's your option? Oxycontin. Okay, let's do this thing then. Because the Oxycontin at least works, you know what I mean? But morphine's also great because it's like you need to take a nap, you know what I mean? Because you're hurt. Get a shot of morphine, just kind of kick back. Listen to the comedy show. Yeah. You don't laugh too much because it's an internal laugh, but nonetheless, it's good. And they sent me home with this encouragement. They did this thing for me called conservative treatment. Do you know what that is? It's nothing. It's literally nothing. It's like Dutch efficiency, you know? Because it was financially efficient, you know? They didn't actually waste the effort. They gave me this blue strap. You guys have seen people with the blue strap. You know, I'm sure you've seen people walk around with their arm like that, wearing a blue strap. It's Velcro because it's modern. You know, you can tell that it's new technology. And they told me it comes good. You've got it and heard this from a therapist or whatever. Everyone that tells you that thing, it comes good. It's very optimistic again. It's efficient, saves some money, buys them sometime. My butcher, my staff karate, he looked at my shoulder. He said, yeah, it comes good. But I trust him because he knows the bones, you know? So he sent me home with his advice and optimism and told me that he kind of keep exercising it because I didn't want it to freeze up. Because God forbid I had a frozen shoulder and I got a broken shoulder. And they told me to keep moving it, like, because I can only raise it up so high. And so they told me to keep pushing it up, which is like active and passive, they told me. And I said, you know what this looks like? So it doesn't matter if you want your shoulder to be healthy, you gotta do it. So I was in my house, waving to my neighbors, getting a bad vibe from people. People across the street know what I'm talking about. I was in Enschede, I was telling this story. They understood completely, because Enschede's bad neighbors is a dangerous place. But I went to my doctor months later and said, Doc, it's not coming good. You know, I cannot raise my arm higher than this. I have RV erectile dysfunction. And he said to me, Helaas and Pindakaas. Useless Dutch phrase, you know. It's not helpful medically. It means, oh well, peanut butter, you know. And it rhymes, you know what I mean? It's a great rhyming sentence, you know. You guys love a good rhyme. It's one of my favorite things about the Dutch. Like, my favorite rhyming sentence that's useless is noken and koken. Yeah? A Dutch saying, you know what I mean? It means fucking in the kitchen if you don't know. I have asked people, and no one can tell me. I have no idea how to use noken and koken in context. You know? It's never come up, you know. Maybe on Grindr, but he left for a Grindr date. Who can blame him in the end? The only thing I can figure out is possible is that if you combine noken and koken with Helaas and Pindakaas, you end up with some taste-offs? I don't know. Anyway, about 8 months passed, and I was having these fun-filled, basically my arm would pop. I had what was called pain-Tourette syndrome, where it would pop, and I would say, fuck, sorry. It was great. It was an enjoyable thing. It was fun for the people around me, too. And they finally did surgery on me, but that didn't really take. I ended up with hitting 12 screws and a bullet from a dead person. I don't know who he was, but I still appreciated his time with me. Because about 4 months later, it turned necrotic. And they do another surgery on me, so I have a reverse shoulder prosthetic now. Yeah, fun, isn't it? It's good you can at least I'll talk about it on stage. The only real value came out of this thing. But I had a socket, now I have a ball, and where I had a ball, I have a socket. So it's possible I have a trans shoulder. I'm not really sure about that. So I thought I was getting better by the time I figured, okay, this is a lot of fun. This has been a great year in review of the medical hospitals. I've been to a lot of them, a lot of nice ones too, and people know me now. And in August, I thought, okay, back to being normal, and I ended up having a stroke. Yeah, a lot of fun that was. And basically before I thought to myself, I had new Socrates, you know, I mean, all this time in my life, and now I'm end up being Strokates. And it's not nearly as cool as I thought it would be. And, you know, I had some therapy too. You know, stroke therapy is not what you think it's going to be. You know what I mean? I went to see my therapist for my first stroke therapy. And, yeah, he said it shouldn't be this hard. Thought it was going to be a different kind of therapy.
I knew it.
You know someone with that or not? Nah, drugs are fun, man. Yeah. See, I'm seeing lights now. It's a weird thing. But in the end, it's like life is one of those things we have to do your best. You know what I mean? You try your best whenever it comes up, and sometimes it works out great, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes God has a great plan, and sometimes God's plan really sucks. And all you can do is sort of push your way through it. You know what I mean? And in the end, it's like, for when I started doing comedy, like, if you want my best advice, and this is probably good advice for you and the staff too, which is that you should never ever take your work home with you. If you want to maintain a good life-work balance, and that applies like doubly for like kindergarten teachers. Fool me once. And when I was told, for me this is a bit like medicine, you're like my morphine shot that I take all you home with and have some more, but I can't. But in the end, it's like when I started doing comedy, they told me that comedy is a lot like sex. And I think we learned tonight that it is, and it's in a big way it is, because I was really excited about coming here tonight. And now that I came, I'm a little self-conscious and tired and sweaty. But one of these days I'm going to get my energy, I'm going to come again soon. Thanks a lot so much. My name is Socrates. Thank you.